Alright, hi everybody. Today we're gonna be doing lesson 12, I think, but your homework for tonight, make sure you guys do problem set for lesson 16. I will be collecting all these homeworks on that Monday when I come back, and whatever you don't turn in that day, you're gonna lose points. So make sure you're doing all the homeworks that I'm telling you to do so that you can turn it in on Monday for full credit. Alright, so learn target for today. I can convert decimals into fractions as well as fractions into decimals. So a lot of this is kind of review for a few of you guys, and some of it might be kind of new or some stuff that you guys forgot. So this is actually lesson 13. So everybody go to the first page on lesson 13. Just make sure everyone's there. Alright, so the reason we want to know how to be able to convert from decimals to fractions is because in certain situations it might be easier to use a fraction. In certain situations it might be better or easier to use a decimal. And sometimes in the real world you don't always use fractions, right? You use decimals when you're talking about money, but fractions when you're talking about measuring things. So it's good to be able to go from one to the other and understand that certain fractions are the same as certain decimals. So right here we're going to convert first 2.25. How to write it as a fraction or a mixed number. So what we could do here is let's look at just the part after the decimal for now. It's 25 after the decimal, right? So what we could do is 25 over, and it's always going to be like 10, it was 1, 10, 100, 1,000, something like that for these ones. And then from there we can simplify. But to figure out how many zeros there is going to be is you ask yourself, where does it end? Where's that last number in the decimal end? This is the tenths place, right? This is the hundredths. So you know that your decimal ends in the hundredths place, so you put 100 on the bottom. And then whatever you put on top is just whatever you see in your decimal. And here we're going to have to put 2 in front because the 2 here is like your whole number. Alright, it's 2. Think of it as like $2 and then 25 cents. Or you can read it as 2 and 25 hundredths. So that's how you convert the decimal into fraction. Part B is to rewrite the fraction in the simplest form and show all the steps you use. All we got to do there is look at that 25 and 100 and think about what goes into both of them. But we want to think about what's the biggest number that goes in both of them. 25 can go into the numerator and denominator. We get 2 and 1 over 4. So I want you guys to know that 2.25 is the same as 2 and 1/4 or 2 and 25 hundredths. But when we work on these type of problems, always simplify. Just like every time I tell you guys, when we're working with fractions, always simplify as much as possible. Alright, so moving on. What about this next one? It's pretty much the same, except it has a little zero there. So it's put 2. If I'm turning that into a fraction or a mixed number is 2. And look at where this last number in the decimal end. Remember, this was the tenth, hundredths. So this one right here will be the thousandths. So then you put 25 over 1,000. Because your decimal ends in thousands place. And another way you can kind of think of it is, okay, how many numbers are there after the decimal? 1, 2, 3. So that means in your denominator there should be 3 zeros. Right? Two ways to kind of think about it. And then down here, simplify it. I can do the same thing here. Divide top and bottom by 25. And 25 goes in, earlier we saw 25 goes into 100 4 times. But here, since it's 1,000, it would be going to 40 times. Hopefully you guys got that. So the next, I'm going to have you guys work on, give you guys some time to do A, B, C, and D. Make sure, alright, so here you guys are turning it into a fraction, and then make sure you put it in simplest form. I'll give you guys about 6 or so minutes on to see how you guys are doing, then we can go over it. So right here we can pause the video. Alright, so here, all you do is there's a 0 in front, so there's not going to be a whole number. So all you do is you put whatever you see after the decimal in the numerator. And in the denominator here, you see how the last number is the thousands. Because here I got tenths, hundreds, thousands. So 1,000 is your denominator. And now we work on simplifying it. With certain problems, or with certain fractions, if there's not a number you could feel like you could go into both, or you can't think of that number, just try 2, right? Because they're both even. Divide top and bottom by 2. You get 109 over 500. I believe that's as simplified as it could be. Alright, next one. 1600. 16 over 100, right? This is your 100th place. Right here I could divide top and bottom by 4. Get 4 over 25. Wasn't too bad. Let's see. Alright, 2.72. Remember, 2 is a whole number, so it could be 2. Equal 72 over, since it's a tenth, the hundredths, right? Put over 100. I believe 4 goes in 72. So right here, if you didn't know that 4 can go into 72, you might divide top and bottom by 2. 36 over 50. If you leave your answer like this, you would not get full credit because the 36 and the 50 can also be simplified, right? So I could divide it by 2 again. Get 2 and 18 over 25. If I had wanted to, I could have just done divide top and bottom by 4, right? It's like that. Either way, as long as you get to that answer. Alright, last one. So here, this is the 10th place, hundredths, thousands, and what's after 1,000? 10,000s, right? So you put 5 over 10,000. And here, you know, you could divide top and bottom by 5. Right here, you think 5 goes into 10 twice, but then you got 3 extra zeros, so like that, 2,000. 10,000 divided by 5 is 2,000. So hopefully you guys were able to get most of those, or you didn't, you understand it. Make sure you guys can still ask a sub, Miss Seals. If you're not sure, you can rewind it or ask the question. Maybe someone else can answer that. Alright, moving on. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to be turning these fractions into decimals. Alright, so if I'm turning 300s to a decimal, you think of it kind of like when you turn the decimal to a fraction. The denominator is 100, so you know all you do is put, or you need to make it so that your decimal ends in the hundredths place. So we're going to put whatever number is in the numerator in there, but you can't put 0.3 because right here 0.3 ends in that's a tenths place, right? So that doesn't work. So you're going to have to add a 0 there. So then now you got the tenths and you got the hundredths. So it ends in the hundredths place, and that matches with the denominator being 100, so it works out. So 3/100ths is 0.03. So pretty much for these problems is the denominator will tell you where your decimal should end, and all you do is you put the number on top. However, it's only that easy if your denominator was something like 100. If it was like 10, 100, 1,000, those are bases of 10. If they're like that, then it's pretty easy to turn into decimal. But if you look at the second one, I got 3/20. What we want to do for this one is we want to try to think of it. Can I turn this denominator, it's 20, into one of those, or even 10,000 if you want. And you can see quickly, I could turn that 20 into 100 pretty easily. And to do that, I can multiply that by 5, right? But if I multiply the denominator by 5, I gotta do the same thing to the numerator. So now I get 15/100. Alright, so now that we got our denominator to be a base of 10, our decimal could just be 0.15. And does this work? Does the decimal end in the hundredths place? Yeah, right? The 1 is in the tenths place right there, and then the 5 is in the hundredths place. So that's how you do that. Alright. Let's see if you guys try to do E and F real quick. Based off of what we did for the last two problems, do E and F. Give you guys a few, 2, 3, 4 minutes on that, and then we'll go over it. So we can pause the video. Alright, for E, here what I could do is multiply top and bottom by, not 2, 4, so that we can turn our denominator once again to be 100, right? So here, what I could write, we know our decimal should end in the hundredths place, so it should have 2 numbers. And here, all we do is put the number we see there, so we 40. So this is like 40 cents, right? And another way you could, actually what we know about decimals is that the zeros at the end, they don't matter. Another way I could write that is just 0.4. Right, either of those are okay, 0.40 or 0.4. Ideally, I want you guys to write it like that and understand that the zeros at the end of the decimal doesn't matter. So I can even cross that out. So this is 0.4. If we had 4/100, that would be 0.04. So make sure you guys know the difference between those two. Alright, F. A few different ways. I'm sure that a lot of people did this one. 8/40. What I could do first is I could divide top and bottom by 4. Get 2/10. And is my denominator base of 10? Yeah, right. So then that means your decimal, should only have one number after decimal, because it's in the tens place. And that number is just going to be 2. So 2. Let me fix that. So your decimal for this one should just be 0.2. Another way that some of you guys might have done it was multiply top and bottom by 5. Get 40 over 200. And then after that, you can divide it by 2. And get 20 over 100. And we know, since it's a hundreds place, it should be 2 numbers. I could just put the 2 numbers there. But again, in a decimal, if the zero's at the end, it doesn't matter. I could just cross that out. So 0.2. So 0.2 or 0.20 is okay, but I want you guys to write 0.2. And that some of you guys might have did it a different way. As long as you get that same answer, that's fine. Alright, so for exercise 2, before you guys start that, B, you could just do it the same way we just did previous problems. And also for D. However, for A and C, it gets a little tricky, because you notice, or you start trying to turn the 16 into a base of 10, like 10, 100, 1,000 or something like that. It's kind of hard to do that. So if you can't do it easily, another way you could turn a fraction into a decimal is simply do the numerator divided by the denominator. You gotta do that long division out. All right. Well, for B, real quick, let's say if I did it for that, 7 divided by 5. 5 goes to 7 once. Got 2, so I gotta put a decimal. Bring it down to 0. 5 goes in 24 times. So you got 1.4. So 750 is 1.4. So the other way I showed you guys was like a shortcut that you guys could do on a lot of problems, but it won't always work. For example, for question A. Or for question B, you can do long division like you would have to do for A. Or real quick, let's do what we did for the other problems. I could multiply top and bottom by 2, right? Get 14 over 10. And here, the decimal should end in the tens place, right? Because the denominator is 10. But I got 2 numbers up here, right? So what do I have to do is I put the 1 in front and the 4 on the bottom, or the 1 in front and the 4 after the decimal, so that it does indeed end in the tens place. All right. So for A, you guys do the long division for that. And then for C, you guys can also do the long division for that. And then see what you guys get. And then for D, you guys should do it either way. And hopefully you guys get the gist of that. That should be good for now. And that's it for today. Or for this video.